Hey, welcome to MBA Chat and EM Repair. Today, I got a special guest, Dave Brennan.
Hey.
Dave, you want to introduce yourself and tell who you are and what you do?
Sure. Dave Brennan. I am the technical service manager for American Pinball, and I also stream with Ryan Kuiper on TurboGrafx 7. So we do. Lately, I've been getting more and more into doing some videos for American as well as TurboGrafx for tech repairs, and we had Mark on a couple, I don't know, what was that, a few weeks back.
Yeah, something like that.
I forget what we played.
Meteor. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome game.
Right. So we've been chatting back and forth for the past couple weeks. Like, hey, it'd be really cool to have sort of a joint thing and kind of come here and help out. Mark can teach me a few things, and maybe I'll teach him a few things.
I'm sure he's going to teach me a few things.
So
We're going to have a blast, I believe.
Yeah. There's I've been working on EMs for a few years now. I started out. I learned actually from Nick Shell. He goes by Nico Volta on Pinside, and he runs the Roanoke Pinball Museum out in Roanoke, Virginia, and he's probably one of the best EM repair techs in the country. He did a really cool North American pinball tour, and he visited me and a friend in when I lived in Minnesota at the time. So from there, I just took it and ran with his teachings, and I still talk to him to this day. So anyway, what are we working on today, Mark?
It's William Straight Flush. This is a customer game. Alf is not helping us, but he will distract us, so let's put him over here. I just picked this up last week. I would say it's a really, really good survivor. It hasn't been touched since the 70s. This was a route game. After it went off route, there was a guy that, I don't know if he worked with the route company or he knew the route company, and he bought it off them, redid it, and then he would sell them. And this is one that he sold to my customer. My customer's had this in his possession since the 70s. And it finally gave up the ghost in a couple little spots, and it just decided not to work. And I believe it's been sitting for a couple of years in his basement. And he learned about me through, I think it was the Garcade. I think he might have went to the Garcade, or that might have been Lucky 7, the owner of Lucky 7. But one of the two, it was either Garcade or found me online and then contacted me and asked me if I would work on it. And I said, well, yeah. I said, I have my Lucky Aces done, and I need a new stream game. So this is going to be my new stream game till it's done. But if you're missing the stream, I'm also going to record it. I'll download it off Twitch, and then I'll put it on to my YouTube channel at Mark's Basement Arcade. So you'll be able to see it there too. You'll be able to see all this, but you won't understand any of the chat unless you were part of the chat, because I can't record the chat. So
yeah. Hey, Board Dog joined us. He's a regular joiner of TurboGrafx, so welcome, Board Dog.
Yeah, welcome.
And Ryan's in the chat as well, so
yeah,
awesome.
So how many people we got? We got 9 people watching us right now, which is pretty cool.
Cool. So what I think the way that we're going to approach this is I'm going to remove the back box on this. It's already unplugged, so I just need to take out a couple of bolts and move it over to the table over here, and I'm going to tackle the back box, and Mark is going to tackle the playfield and stripping down that, and sort of tag team this thing. It shouldn't be too terrible. This is a single player EM, so we should be able to knock through it pretty quick. So
I'll be showing you how I take pictures of everything on playfield. That's how I remember where everything goes. Score reels, I've done them 1,000 times where I could probably have my eyes closed and put them things back together. But playfields, every machine is a different playfield. So you can't skip on that. You need to see how all the pegs are for all the posts and everything. But they're kind of explanatory on the plastic. If you look at the plastic, you see holes, so you know that certain screw has to go where that lines up.
And typically with you'll have different height posts.
Yeah.
And so the taller ones will be for plastic supports.
Yep.
And then, so just paying attention to that when you're taking things apart, so.
But yeah, we'll get that torn apart. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take that glass out, because you know I don't work on them laying down without the glass removed, because on one of my machines I did that and I dropped some screws down through where the score reels were and I chipped the paint a little bit. So ever since then glass comes out.
Yep.
Because you drop something out, you're not worried about
this is a nice back glass on it too.
Yes,
So.
I'll show you the back glass once you take it off. So if you want to loosen the two tabs up on there.
Sure.
I'll get that out. Alright. And here's the glass. Look at that. You can see there's just a couple little spots.
Minor flaking in the reds, which is common in Williams games, but the reds are vibrant. I mean, usually they're pink. So that's super nice.
That is beautiful glass though. So what I will do is, when it warms up, I will take this outside and I will triple thick the spots. I'm not going to do the whole glass. I'm just going to do the spots because the paint is holding really good on it. So we're just going to do spots. Spot triple thick. Remove that over there. As soon as we get this taken apart, I will get rid of the glass and hide it in my little compartment.
I'm surprised you don't spray the entire glass. Is that it's just preference?
I have in the past, but then I'm like, well, this glass is holding on real good. It's held on this whole time, and plus I do not use 44 bulbs back on my games, so you have that heat factor gone. And then I also have these that a friend made. Show everybody on TV these. 3D printed. These sit right over the score numbers on the glass, so you don't triple thick the glass. This tiny little one is for the credit window.
And that's enough weight that it'll hold in place when you spray it?
Yep, because you know, you just
Yep.
They're light, but they do the job.
I've actually done, I've used a different, not triple thick, there's a different type of paint that's also clear. I use Rust-Oleum lacquer clear, which it lays down a lot smoother, and I can spray directly over the score windows, so I get everything, and it dries, without any orange peel at all on it.
I don't like that 1700s, 1600s glass where you get the wave from it when people spray over there. They say you can't see it, but
I've done it.
I look at them and you can.
I have a Zaccaria robot that has a lot of just clear glass on it. Because a lot of the Zaccaria games, it's really just like it's a clear glass in the middle, but then it has a border, right? And but I had some flaking and stuff in some of the printing. Well, you can't really make that. You can't block off everything because it's a majority of the glass. So I ended up spraying the whole thing, and it ended up being, you can't even tell that I sprayed it. So
that back glass, once I lay it out and once I start spraying it, if it does get crazy where if I'm getting spray all over the place, we'll end up spraying the whole thing. Let's get this camera active. Alright, we were on, let's do both Sonys. There we go. So we have this one going here, and then we got Dave's. So you can situate that however you want.
Alright.
And I'll try to get that. Like that. Oh, I gotta move this so I can get the glass head. And I got all those little buckets and cans over there where you can throw all the parts and stuff like that.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy. What's up?
I need to call you about a puck bowler I've been working on.
Oh, Jeremy's the man on that.
Well, yeah. So I think Williams and Chicago Coin might have some similarities, but this Chicago Coin I'm working on, like a lot or pretty much all of the labels are gone, and I'm trying to identify some of these steppers and things, and it's a challenge to say the least. So
here's my glass storage unit. Let's get this over here. So can everybody hear us good? We're using a blue snowball mic that I got. I'm using that for the very, very, very first time. I hope it's good. From what I see on the OBS, it looks like it's picking us up no matter where we are in the basement.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that thing is heavy too. It looks really, really light, but that thing is, I swear, it's like 5 pounds.
Yeah, if it sounds good, I mean, that's a good option.
Yeah. All right. Let's move this over here like this. And then we need to get some of the junk out of here and just use this for glass. I decided to use this one day because now everything is out of my way. I don't ever have to worry about bumping the glass and breaking it. That'll lay over like that. And then this. And I think I'm going to be starting Meteor. I mean, not Meteor.
Flight 2000?
No, Sorcerer next week. I have to do a playfield swap on that. It isn't really bad. It's got this one post that popped out. I would have just drilled it out, put a dowel in it, and put a T-pin or nothing. I mean, T-nut. So yeah, it's going to be perfect. So everybody having a good Sunday watching us? Look at that. That's perfect.
Good.
I like that camera.
There you go.
I like that a lot. That might be a nice option to get.
Yeah, they're pretty inexpensive, so.
I'm always afraid of my big Sony.
Hey, Jag Daniels, thanks for the bits.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Well, before I get started on this, I wanted to just point out. So I brought Mark a little gift from Harbor Freight. I stopped there before I came out here. And I plug this every time. It's something that Nick Shell preaches and taught me. It's basically, you can get it's a rotary tool, knockoff Dremel, for $10 at Harbor Freight, and I'm gonna be using this, and I preach it every time I talk about EM repair. This, you don't really need the stuff that comes with it. Really, the big thing that I use is a Dremel 443. It's a steel wire, little brighter brush, and it's really nice because this handheld thing is super lightweight and small to get in there and clean the contacts. And so you're gonna see I'm gonna zip through these pretty quickly, and get everything adjusted. So anyway, those are for Mark.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm gonna put these right on top of my Hurricane
There you go.
right now. Keep them out of the way, and I'll take them out of the package later on. Check it out.
All right. So really, all I need for my section here, at least to start, I'll use a bit of alcohol, some Q-tips for cleaning, and then I need my switch adjustment tool.
I don't even know if I need this light.
If you're gonna do any repair, or I actually just made a video on this for American about my top 10 tools, and this was right up there. I mean, it's a silly little thing, but you need this for modern games, and I didn't put this on my top 10 because this is probably more for EMs, but I mean, this is my personal one. Maybe I'll make a top 10 tool list for TurboGrafx as like an overall, everything repair. But for newer games, you shouldn't need to clean up contacts like you do on EMs, because these you'll get arcing on switches, and they become black and tarnished, and so that's why you need to clean these off. And Mark can attest to this.
Oh, yeah.
With EMs, it's all about, if you let them sit, especially in a moisture-rich environment, like in a garage or something, it's like, oh yeah, it played 10 years ago the last time I touched it.
Yep.
Well, it's not going to play now.
No.
So you got to play them.
And it's a very rare occasion where you do get a game that's been sitting forever and you plug it in and it works. Very rare.
Yeah, Board Dog, cordless Dremel is pretty nice. I think you pay the Dremel prices for them, but I guess the thing I preach is, for $10, I mean, if it dies, whatever, I'll go get a new one for $10. It's like, don't buy that warranty plan or whatever that Harbor Freight has. But
I need to get some little bucket things for my parts.
Jeremy, no, I am not part of the Shuffle Bowler Facebook group. I'll have to look for that. Honestly, this is the first EM Shuffle Bowler I've worked on. I've worked on several EM pinball machines before, and I have a early solid state, or not early. It's a System 11 shuffle puck bowler at my house, so it's pretty new to me. There's just a lot more of it, a lot more score reels, a lot more steppers. Yeah, it's a ton of work to go through a bowler, but as you know,
I've been given 3 puck bowlers now, and I passed them all up, every single one. People are like, if you come to my house, if you take this out of the basement, you can have it. And then I'm like, I would love to, but I have no room for it.
Yeah. So Mark, how would if I wanted to show in close on this?
Is that good, or where do you want it to?
On the relays.
Let's get that. Let me set these down here. We will. Where is that? There it goes. Still getting used to this.
It's okay.
This new tripod. Is that good?
Yeah, that should be good. If there's I don't know if we can make it head on or not to show them like the
Let's do
switch
this.
gaps. It's a fancy tripod.
Yeah, it was expensive too, but I wanted a really super good quality one.
Yeah.
Because I've had junky little ones that you get, and they just fall apart. And then this one is really super nice.
Yeah.
Okay, now we go like that. Now we'll tilt it up a little bit. There we got that. And it locks down real good and it stays down.
You just go zoom in.
Is that good?
Yeah, that should be good.
And then we'll put it on, what is it? manual focus. Now it's locked on. It won't turn on and off on you like crazy.
Oh, and I move my hand in and out. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now it's just gonna stay locked right onto that area.
Okay. Awesome.
If anybody has any questions what I'm doing, I'm just trying to get these little metal caps off. I like them, but then I don't like them because they usually fit on once really good, but then they don't want to go back on ever again. So usually I like taking these off, and I like putting the little rubber push-on posts.
Oh, yeah. I don't really care for those caps either.
Yeah. I'll show people what they look like.
So I might get my head in the way when I'm looking here, but...
These. I like using these. Because then they just push right on. And they hold, and then they still look good.
Yeah. And you can get them by the hundreds.
Yeah.
Pinball Life is pretty cheap. Pinball Resource has them.
Yeah.
I keep a ton of those on hand.
I like them better than those metal ones. So I'm going to see if this guy wants to switch to them.
Yep.
When I go through the machine the rest of the way.
Yep. I guess the only thing I would say I use the metal ones for, if there's a critical plastic that needs to wrench it down.
Yeah.
Some Gottlieb games are like that, so I might put them in select places.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean... so I wanted to just talk about relays quick and adjustments. And before I go and adjust these, basically, when you're looking at the relay, it's really supposed to have what's called overwipe. And when you have... Basically, every relay is a long blade and a short blade. And when your relay activates, it pulls it in with the electromagnet, and it pushes the short blade. And then what it should do is it should extend past the point of that short blade, and you should see it move just a little bit past its original position. And in this case, this second blade down, I can see right away that it touches it, but you don't have much at all of the overwipe. And you really want that on EMs because it makes it self-cleaning. So I'm going to go and I'm going to clean these with my Nick Shell always called this a magic brush, but the Dremel 443. I'm going to clean the contacts and adjust them so that when this does close, it's going to close and it's going to extend that shorter blade a little bit past its neutral position. So let's do that. And I just kind of get in between, whisk the contacts. And on some, so this is on Williams games, but not always. But you can usually get to them pretty easy. When you have like a double stack of switches, like in this case, sometimes you can get into this back one, but not always. So you just have to unscrew it and get to the back side. I'm going to do that quick. Oops. Bigger bit.
And screws for these.
Oh, Board Dog, getting back into EM repair. Awesome. Jumping Jack. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's got a cool artwork. That's the one with a big drop target bank right up the middle. I think I actually got one of those for free once. It was the only pinball machine I ever got for free, but it was a major project, and I ended up giving it to a friend of mine. He just hoards projects. And I think he was going to use it for like a parts machine or something, for another EM that he had. But, yeah, cool game.
Friday, I just worked on one of the oldest EMs I've ever worked on.
Oh, yeah?
Williams 3 coins. I don't know if anybody's ever seen one before, but it was the first time I've seen one. But I've never encountered a game where the stepper was like so gummed up that it like welded itself to the body. I mean, I've never had one where it didn't turn. I've had them where they turned, real slowly.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was like somebody filled it up with super glue and assembled it back together.
Solidified grease. And
yeah.
Yeah.
It took me 3 hours to completely rebuild that thing. I mean, completely. Because all I had was rubbing alcohol to take it apart.
Sure.
And I didn't have I like using naphtha. It just seems to cut through the old grease really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could have stuck it in my ultrasonic cleaner, but I had none of those available to me.
Yeah. Well, I use to get through the grease, I just use 90% alcohol.
That's what I had, but I had like no way to soak it or anything either.
Oh, okay. A friend of mine gave this to me. I'm not sure where he got these, but essentially it's a bottle with a not sharp syringe tip on it, and it's really nice to like get into stepper units, and I'll show it when I get to this, where because you got these moving pivot points that I think sometimes people get a little crazy with putting grease on those, and then it solidifies, and like Mark was just talking about, and on the bowler that I've been working on, on all the score reels, well, maybe not all of them, but quite a few were just gummed up really bad, where you just couldn't get it to have the movement it was supposed to have. So
yeah, those steppers, I'll be tearing those things completely apart in little pieces and going through them. It's like, but yeah, on those part of the steppers where it's got that pivot where it's like riveted together, press fit,
mm-hmm.
I use the same thing. I got what is like a super lube pen.
Mm-hmm.
I use that for those joints because you can't take it apart and you can't clean it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? You have to use some type of thin stuff. So
right.
I use this. Well, you can't really see it too good, but this.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
Super lube in a pen.
I do. This is a really thin.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Lubricant. It comes in a smaller bottle. Me and my wife bought new bikes this past spring.
Yeah.
You can get little travel size.
I'm gonna try. Actually, went to try that. Once
Yeah.
I get rid of this, I'm gonna try some of that.
Here's the little guy. So this is nice travel size.
Oh yeah, that is.
So they had these in a little grab bin at the checkout counter at the bike store. So
yeah, we got one down the block somewhere.
Yeah, so Finish Line dry bike lubricant it's super thin, so you can put it on a Q-tip.
Yeah.
You don't need to go crazy like some people they'll get thing of grease and they'll just smear it all over the stepper.
Yeah.
Plate, and get a little too crazy with it.
Yeah. Whenever I do that, then I take a rag and then I wipe it completely off, so it just has that little bit of trace left on it.
Mm-hmm. Stuck shafts, like on Shuffle Score Reel and Mac, use heat and soldering hair dryer. You can work the one. Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was in a warehouse, so I didn't have any, what do you call it, real tools. What I had was what was in my bag. They had a soldering iron there I could have probably used, but I wasn't thinking of it. But I ended up just kept soaking it down with a rag and just kept slowly turning it. It did come loose, but yeah, it was fun. I can see that.
Yeah, Board Dog. So just magic brush it, get the contacts, and then yeah, you can go through with alcohol and a Q-tip, clean off all the soot and stuff that you just took off, and then you can do the adjustment here. So what I like to do is let me go back to a different screwdriver bit real quick. Just keep this one out. So I'll do all the things that you should do. Is checking that the switch stack is tight first, and see I just did about a full turn there, about a half turn. So it's always good to snug these up if you can. I mean, not that it wouldn't be functional if I didn't do this, but they do loosen over time.
So how long have you been doing machines now, Dave?
Well, I've been kind of collecting and repairing for 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah.
Last one is tight. Okay, so now that it's tight, first thing I'm going to do, so you have, this one's pretty simple. You got all the long blades on the top, and then all the short blades are on the bottom. Sometimes it's reversed. Just depends if it's a make switch or a break switch. So these are all make, and if it was reversed, it would be a break. And then sometimes it's a make break, so, meaning that there's two short blades and then a long blade in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically overextend the top blade and give it some more tension, and basically just kind of bow this up a little bit more. And the reason for that is because I want this this whole mechanism here that pivots, so you have the spring that's bringing it back, but you can also make the switches themselves act as a spring, so to bring it back to its home position. So I'm just going to give each of the long blades just a little tweak up, just to kind of do this here, just to kind of give that a little extra springiness. Don't forget the one on the back side.
Also, everybody that's watching, let me know if we're getting glitching on the stream, because my computer is a little over. It's basically what we can use for 2 cameras, but I notice my overloading is popping up every now and then. So let me know if we're getting like locked up and jittery. And if we're going to do that, I'm going to have to invest in a better computer. Not like Ryan got.
It's all fancy.
Yeah, but I want to get a better computer so I can run 2 cameras, 2 good cameras.
Cool. All right, so I've extended these top blades up a bit, and so now as I actuate the relay, you can see that I'm not really touching the bottom blades right now. So now I'm going to adjust each of the bottom blades. So I'm going to take this out of view for a second so I can see it myself. And you want those just enough that you get that overwipe. So it should be pushing that bottom blade ever so slightly past its home position, but you still want that gap. Another trick is if you're having trouble seeing, Mark has really good lighting here, which I very much appreciate.
Yeah.
But if you have trouble seeing or you're hunching into a game, another trick is to put a piece of white paper.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do that a lot. I just threw all my white paper out too. Because I went through. Here we go. Over here.
You got something?
Yeah.
Maybe
I was cleaning up the basement, so it wouldn't be so much of a mess. It's still a mess, but it isn't as bad as it was. It was really bad. Really, 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 really messy basement. But that's what happens when you get to the point where people want you to work on all the machines and you don't finish your own machines. As you can see, the Hurricane is mine, the Gulfstream is mine, and that Preview are mine, and I can't touch them. Well, the Hurricane, I pulled the boards out and I sent them out because it's Lucky 7 here.
Mm-hmm.
Both boards, the top board, the batteries dripped down, took out a chip, and then slowly eased down and then got the board below it. So I sent both of them out, and I figured, well, since they're going out, I might as well pull the Hurricane board out. And my Hurricane board looked like the alien creature, you know, with all the legs.
Mm-hmm.
The wires wrapped around it and were soldered to the whole back of the game.
Oh.
Because all the connectors on the board were burnt off or whatever. So they just removed the connectors and then soldered every wire to the game.
Oh, terrible!
So
bad practice.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Yeah, I guess that would. I've talked to a couple operators and they said we did that in the normal. Oh wow, I've never had a rubber like this before. I just tried to pull it off and it broke.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah. So bad. Yeah.
I'm gonna save this and we're gonna glue it back together and I'm gonna throw in an ultrasonic cleaner and it'll be as good as new.
Right.
You ever see that before?
Yeah.
New one.
So anyway, back to these. I adjusted the top couple of switches, and you might be able to see as I actuate this that the top blade, when it goes and touches the shorter blade, the bottom blade, it will move it past its home position slightly, and that's what's called overwipe. That's exactly what you want. And so you can use the white paper to see your switch gaps to make sure that you need them close, but you don't want them touching, obviously. So it's important to have some good lighting, and so you can see in between that gap. And once you do a few of these, honestly, they're pretty much all the same. So it's going to be a rinse and repeat for the majority of your relays, and the same thing happens with like score reels, and I mean stepper units are pretty similar too. So when we go through that, it's pretty.
And every relay opens or closes. They don't all stay closed or they don't all stay open. That's another thing too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's either they're open and then they close, or they're closed and they open. They don't always stay open or always stay closed. I've ran into that on a couple of machines, and those usually were machines with burned coils.
Mm-hmm. Right, because it's staying closed all the time and it's not supposed to.
Yep, and it's just keeping that coil. That's how the casino started on fire.
Right.
So the 0 to 90 unit coil was burned out.
So there we go. I did that whole stack. Has nice overwipe where it's supposed to. Need to do one more switch on this side, and then this one is done.
These are crusty. Some of them are really nice and soft still, and then others are just crunchy.
And it's in... Where are we at? This is a reset relay. So another thing of note is your most used relay of any EM machine is always your 10-point relay.
Yes.
This one sees the most amount of clicks ever. So as far as making sure that this one has gone through and it's going to see the most amount of wear, like this one, when I get down to it, you might be able to see it on camera now, but there's like literally no overwipe whatsoever on these switches here. And so what would happen in this game is there's going to be a ton of arcing on this switch when this closes, because it's like barely closing that gap. It's enough to make a contact and it'll probably work, but it's not cleaning it, and so it'll just continuously get black and sooty, and I think eventually it'd burn up those contacts to continuously arc like that. But
yeah. And then sometimes on those contacts you get the spinners too. Have you ever run into the spinners?
Oh yeah. So the contact itself will spin around, or it's not riveted in there well.
Yeah.
And then it loses connectivity like that.
I usually will fix that with a drop of solder. And that usually will.
Jag Daniels, is this method of cleaning useful in any Wolfram rivet? I don't know about EM contact. Should be Wolfram.
What's Wolfram?
I don't know. Jeremy says that the small cam sometimes slows down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. What a Wolfram rivet is.
Wolfram rivet. I wonder if they're like it's the stepper ones. Tungsten. That's what he says.
Oh, tungsten. Tungsten. Yes. So I need to buy these, but yeah, if you watch any of Clay's guides, which I have a story about that. So Clay Harrell in Michigan, he did a lot of the pin repair guides, and when he goes out on service calls, he has like a toolbox full of switch parts, and you can buy just like the different blades, and it has rivet holes already in there, and then he can put a rivet wherever he wants and then cut the blade to that size, because you have, depending on what switch it is. So if you're going to be repairing EMs, there you go. Yep. So it's really handy, because then you can put the contact in any one of these holes, and then you just cut it to whatever length, and so if you got a switch that burns up, you're ready to go.
And they come in different thicknesses too, so order all of the thicknesses.
Okay.
Because you get the real super heavy ones, and then you get the real super light ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a spinner switch.
Yeah.
Is going to be more flexible than just your standard leaf switch. So.
Also, a good thing to do is I keep all of my old leaf switches, because sometimes half of them got like a good contact on it and other half don't.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're good for parts, and they're good for like tinkering around with something.
Oh yeah, I bought a couple of games over the years that were not salvageable.
Yeah. One
was a Flight 2000, which is coming in handy for this. I'm working on a Stargazer project right now. I've been posting on Facebook some of the progress. Anyway, so this thing was not. The cabinet was all like the bottom was busted out.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff was robbed. Like this guy, he bought a bunch of games, that were from an operator, and a lot of them were parts games that they had already robbed a lot of parts out of.
Yeah.
So like the big drop target bank was already gone, a bunch of stuff was gone. It's like, well, and then the playfield was toast. So I actually did some good with it. I was working with there's a guy on Pinside. He goes by, I think it's Beehive Pinball.
Yeah. And
he makes playfield protectors for a lot of early Stern games. Okay. And he didn't, at the time, he didn't have Flight 2000. It was on his list of ones to do. And I messaged him. It's like, well, you got this game, and this game. It's like, how far along are you until you get to Flight 2000? He's like, well, I was gonna get one, but then the deal fell through, so I don't have one to model after. I was like, well, I got this playfield. Will that help you? I was like, yes, absolutely. So I traded him a playfield for some protectors. Oh. And at the same time, I was like, hey, I see that you have a Fireball EM. I have a Fireball EM. Will you make a protector for it? Because nothing exists. Yeah. And so he did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so part of the reason that it's even available is because, well, him and me asking for it, I guess. But it's nice. I'm a believer in the protectors in that, because I went through and I touched up that playfield. I've done this on a couple of games now. For those that don't know, I also restore playfields, not for hire. If you're going to do that, go to Neo Skywalker. He's playfieldrestorations.com. He's also in Wisconsin, and he does a good job. He does it commercially. But anyway, so I touched up this playfield, and you can lay down a protector over the top of it, and it preserves all the touch-ups that I did. So, down the road, if you did want to clear coat it, it's already ready to go. All you have to do is scuff it up, and there you go. But
down.
But yeah, so
this is like glued down on here.
What is it?
Scorecard.
Oh.
I normally take them off, but I'm going to leave that on there, I guess.
Taped it on, maybe? Old tape?
I don't know. I'll see once I get the apron off. I usually don't like to leave them on because you move stuff around and then you got to clean it and then you end up messing with it. So I'm going to have to leave it and then put it in a safe spot so it's out of my way. And only have to move it one time when I put it back on.
Yeah, now you better get rocking on these things.
Yeah.
It's, right. Is that time right?
Yeah.
Man, I get to yakking too much.
Well, this is going to be a series, so.
Okay.
Every week, once we're done with this game's just going to sit till next week.
So what I'm going to do is I'll zip through the ones that I can get to, because there's a small stack of switches for these. So I'm going to zip through all of them and clean them up, and then I'm going to go through with alcohol Q-tip, and then I'll flip it over. Oh, sorry. I'll clean the ones that I can get at, and then I need to take the screws out, flip it over, get to the other one, and then clean everything and then adjust it. So basically rinse and repeat of what I just did.
So yeah, whatever we don't do, it's just going to be a weekly series till the game's done.
Okay.
Well, if it takes 2 months, it's going to take 2 months. I told the customer that's what this game's going to be. It's going to be part of this series, so that's the only reason why I got it in so early.
Sure. Well, and it's a nice teaching tool.
Yeah.
I remember we did something similar. I used to take auto body class and back in high school, And it was something like that with the people that are customers, really.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get, your car fixed up, well, just know that students are working on this, and they can only work on it, for a couple hours a day,
Yep.
and they make mistakes, so you're gonna get it whenever you get it.
Yep. So yeah, that's what I figured this game was. I've done a plenty of Williams on my YouTube channel, Mark's Basement Arcade, everybody. I've done plenty of them, and I figured this would be, since I've done so many of them, I figured this is going to just be a nice YouTube, Twitch stream of doing a straight flush from start to finish. So yeah, whatever we leave off with, I will start back up with next week.
Awesome.
So yeah, this might take 3 months, but then I have my other games I have to work on during that. So this is like a 2-hour block, and then it's done. All right, I got all the playfield plastics off, and you can see. Can you see this? No, you can't.
Do you need a light?
No. Look how nasty this is. This hasn't been cleaned.
Ugh.
Since the 70s. And this, if you watch my YouTube channels, all this will completely come off. This will get cleaned and waxed underneath here. These pieces, I take them off and I polish them, because this is one of the first areas of ball attack where your ball gets damaged. So if you take this and you polish this, you're going to have a nice smooth area for that ball to ride on. Plus, when you get light from your playfield coming down this way, it will reflect some of it, kind of like a mirror. So this will all come off and get a good polish.
So what do you polish it with?
I have one of those Harbor Freight polishers. It's it looks like a grinder, with the 2 things on each side.
Oh, you polish it to that degree.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they are super shiny, bright when I'm done.
Nice. I'll have to try that. I have something similar, but it's for a drill bit head.
Yeah.
And I have, basically there's like a cotton metal polishing deal.
Oh,
Same kind of thing, instead of it being in that benchtop version.
Yeah, I have that for Dremel. I use that for like these where you can't take them off. These guides here. I'll polish those with that.
Oh, but you can get those off.
Yeah, you can get them off, but I don't like taking them off because...
Right. So I can talk about it real quick.
Oh, sure.
And show how I do it. So I know this is a piece of paper, but I'll usually I'll do this with like a piece of cardboard. But this is a tool that I have in my toolbox, and I talk about it a lot. They're Hakko flush cut snips. And this is one of the big reasons that I have a bunch of them, and they're so versatile. I use them for board repair, but they're great for this because you have these, basically they're twist, what do you call them, twist nails?
Yeah.
Or they're nails, but they have a twist to them. And they also did them on the sides of the cabinet. So it's really big. If you need to get the side rails off of a cabinet, like for example, if you're going to re-stencil the cabinet, repaint it, you gotta have a pair of these. And what you do is you can take your flush cut snips and you can kind of get behind that head and kind of pinch it, and then the reason for the cardboard is you need to pinch it and then twist that twist nail.
Yeah.
When you kind of work it up, and then don't worry too much if you do scratch it or whatever. You can regrain it if you need to, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's how you get those out of there. Otherwise, it's you'll end up, if you try to get behind it,
yeah, you're gonna
bend it up,
yeah.
And it's gonna get all mangled, and a kink in your side rail thing. It's gonna stand out a lot more than a couple of scratches. So.
Oh, there's the Grand Prix.
Oh wow, fancy.
Yeah. Because whatever light from your playfield will bounce off through there when the lights are off.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but yeah, it's another smooth part that I believe, Because you know what, the ball, once it gets wore, it turns into a rolling ball of sandpaper.
Yep.
And whatever you can improve on your playfield and anything that touches that ball to where it's not going to chew up your ball is one extra step of prevention.
Well, it's very logical.
So I was looking at that one day because I had one that was really just, well, like this one. You can hear it.
Yep. Yeah, it's some kind of weird coating. I'm not sure what that is. It's on sterns too. Yeah. Where it's kind of like a like a white.
Yeah, it gets oxidized and you can see it on my fingers. It's white yuck.
Yep.
So yeah, you remove that. You put a polish on it, a little bit of wax, and then it's perfect again. Like new. And this piece I will take off here, but then I will put these 2 screws back in. I don't know why I do that. That's just something weird I do every time I take this off. I have weird habits.
Put them back in the playfield?
Yeah.
No, that's a great habit. I do that all the time so I don't lose the screws.
Yeah.
I know some people like to put them in baggies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not so much of a believer in that.
Oh, I do that for when you, like I did World Cup soccer, because you're taking everything off in layers.
Yes.
So everything I took off, I would write on a little baggie, right ramp. And then I'd put the screws in a pile and left ramp screws.
Sure.
So I wouldn't get mixed up. But like on this EM here, everything just goes in one container and I don't have to worry about it. Just because I take pictures of the top of the screws, but then I know basically what they are, because what EM has, 4 screws maybe? 4 different screws?
Right, yeah.
So you don't really have to mess them up. But when you're working on a solid state game, you're working with a ton of different screws.
Right. And so what I do, you do each their own.
Yeah.
When I'm working on a game with layers, I have like a big banquet table.
Okay.
And I'll layer everything. So if it's a ramp, I take the ramp off, and of course I'm taking pictures as I go.
Yeah.
But I'll put the ramp in that spot on the table, and I'll put all the pieces there, and then that way it's, when I do it in the reverse order, I work from one end of the table to the other, putting everything back. So maybe that doesn't work for everybody. If you got small children or something that might mess it up.
You got the room too.
Right.
You have a room dedicated to that.
Yeah.
So this is my game room / workshop right here. So normally that table I would put all the parts on. Like when I did the World Cup soccer, I had all the parts laying on that table.
Right.
But yeah. Someday I gotta clean up my other room on the other side of the basement and just move my workshop over there. That's what my plans are. Leave this back as the game room as it was intended, and because my wife yells at me because I want a bar down there. So I can't have a bar, and she's always freaked out when we're gonna have a party. She goes, the room's gonna be a mess. I'm like, no, it will take me an hour to move everything and make it look halfway decent.
Oh, Lindsay would never let me have a bar in the basement.
Yeah.
So we had to compromise. I put the beverage fridge upstairs, so at least it forces. You know why she did that? It forces me to go up, and she can count how many beers I have.
Oh, what if you take 3 at a time, though?
Well, that's what I do.
You take 3 at a time, and there's no way of knowing that.
That's right. That counts as one.
Yeah.
It's whatever I can carry down.
It's one trip then.
Right. Yep.
I'm gonna have to vacuum this, and I left my attachment upstairs. I'm gonna have to go get my little brushy attachment.
All right. Go, Dan. What's up, Dan? Oh, you're on the phone. Oh, cool. Well, need to. I think that one is good. yakking too much, not adjusting enough. Put this one back. But, so this has got a daisy chained lug of the coils. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to move. So I'm not going to screw this back in right now. I'm going to I'm going to take all of these screws out, and that way I can maneuver them around a little better. Well, I suppose I could do these two, because these are the double stacked switch banks. So I'll clean those two, then I can put them back, and then I'll do these two. So
I'm gonna steal some power from you, but then I'm gonna make a ton of noise. I gotta get this vacuumed off before I tilt it upside down.
Yep.
Try to keep it as clean. I mean, there's just so much buildup in this little area right here of crud. I want to get that vacuumed off.
There you go.
Everybody, you're going to have a little noise for a short couple seconds so I can vacuum
You
this.
can mute it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, just mute it.
Let's mute it. And where are we? Blue Snowball. Alright, you guys didn't have to hear that. Oh, I gotta talk about shop vacs versus home vacs. Do not use your home vacuum cleaner to vacuum off your playfield. Use a shop vac.
Why is that?
I have this really killer Kirby. I mean, this thing has suction power. It'll suck the butt right out of a cat. It's powerful. But the impeller is before the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you suck up through that vacuum cleaner goes through, it hits the impeller, and then goes into the bag. On a shop vac,
it's just into the...
It goes right into the reservoir, and then there's a filter, and then after the filter is your impeller. So you think of garbage disposal.
Yep.
You drop a plastic insert down through a garbage disposal, you're destroying it. And that's what you'll do with a home vac. And I've done that on one game. I used the Kirby, and I destroyed an insert, sucked it right out because they were loose. Sucked it right out, went right through, and I heard that garbage disposal noise, and I knew I didn't even need to look into the bag because there was going to be nothing salvageable out of that insert. So that's why I tell everybody, if you're cleaning off your playfield, use a shop vac, or get a really nice soft bristle brush and just go through every area and then clean it and then put it into a pile where there's no inserts, and then vacuum off that little spot if you don't have access to a what do you call it, a shop vac.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
But yeah, that was an expensive tip for me because I ended up had to search all over for a insert on an old game, and I found one that's luckily somebody was parting out, and I didn't have to worry about anything not matching. So it was perfect. I got it. I paid crazy for it. Put it in the game, and it looked exactly like the original. because it was weathered and it was beautiful.
Nice.
But after that, I learned check every insert on your old EMs, make sure they are not loose.
Mm-hmm. And what do you glue them with?
I use wood glue.
You do?
Normally, just regular wood glue.
I'm a super glue fan.
Lucky Ace behind you is every insert has been super glued from the top and the bottom, because they had shrunk so bad or the playfield dried out so much they were wobbling back and forth inside the playfield. So there was like no way. I mean, you'd lift up the playfield and they just fall out.
Wow.
That's how bad they were.
Yeah.
I don't really like using super glue too much, but when you have to, you have to. Like if you got a big like at my Grand Prix, how it's got the big triangles lights. Once those get warped, they're warped, you know. So you got to glue it down on one end and then push it down and then glue it the other way.
Yep.
And then heat it up a little bit if you can to get it as flat as possible.
Right. That's how I do it when. So before I do any playfield restoration, I always check inserts, because if they move, if they have some movement and they're not, you know, they might be half glued down or something. Well, if you're gonna clear over it, and that insert has any movement, well, you just cleared over it, and now that insert moves, you're gonna pop it, and that's how ghosting happens.
Yeah.
So, gotta make sure that those things are in there.
Alright, I'm going to take off the pop bumper bodies. What I'm going to do first is unloosen all the screws on the top, and then we'll flip up the playfield. Actually, I might flip over the playfield in here if I can, and then we'll take them off from the bottom. These are special wood screws with like a beveled head. They're made like that so they can sit really low into the pop bumper body, and you got no interference for anything. Now you can, if you don't like these sockets in here, you can put wedge sockets in these and still get the light down. I know some people will cut up LED bulbs and put them in there, but if you take the socket out, you can see that there's two nubs that support the EM light socket for the 44 or 47 bulb. You grind those off with a Dremel so they're down flat. Once you do that, it allows the wedge socket to set down that much lower, so you can actually get the cover back on. Because nice. Grand Prix is like that. That was the first game I experimented in, and it's still working perfectly.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. I think Neo was the first guy that I saw that. So what Mark is talking about is to dismantle an LED, and I just posted a couple of things on that on the TurboGrafx 7 Facebook page or group. Essentially, you can dismantle a 555 LED just to get the LED itself, and all it is you got the surface mounted diode, light emitting diode on a little tiny circuit board, and there's those wires that are coming out of the base of it. Those are actually just resistor leads, and so you can take those apart, and what you can do is you can put like heat shrink tubing on those resistor ends, and then you can kind of feed that through the pop bumper body, and you might have to solder on some extra wire to get some length, but you can push that LED all the way to the base of the light or the pop bumper body, and then what that does is it lights up the entire thing, which has a super cool effect to it that it didn't normally have with the socket, and I'm actually going to do a cool thing with the Stargazer that I'm working on. I'm going to do that method, but Pinball Life has them now. You can get transparent, no, I guess you would call it translucent pop bumper bodies in different colors. So I have a poly, it would be, I bet you anything it's like, can't be PET. I think it's a polycarbonate pop bumper body. I'm not 100% sure that that's what the plastic is, but anyway,
Yeah.
it's a colored, like you'd see in the color clear translucent caps. You can get bodies in different colors. For the longest time, they were only available at Pinball Center in Germany, which had a huge problem with they do not ship to the U.S. There's like issues with getting parts shipped, something. So there was one guy on Pinside that did like a mail forwarding thing, and he had that part of his business. But Pinball Life recently got those in stock, and I think they're pretty cool. The only thing about them, though, is you have to be careful when you're firming everything up. Do not use like an electric screwdriver. Just do it by hand and just snug it up, because they will crack pretty easily. So same thing goes with the caps. Don't over wrench those translucent caps. You will crack them. So it's just, user beware.
But I wonder why they wouldn't ship them to the United States. That's weird.
Well, so even like the UK has some, I don't know. I think it's something to do with like the complexity of taxes and different stuff and tariffs and whatever. So it's probably like, we're just not going to deal with it, kind of thing. So I mean, I get it. That's why there's a business of mail forwarding, because I was looking at it. There's a lava lamp company in
lava lamp.
Yeah, I know. If you've ever watched the TurboGrafx stream, I have an obscene number of lava lamps.
Just a couple, I guess.
Right. And I've been looking at this. There's a company called Mathmos out of the UK that supposedly has one of the best lava lamps ever, that you can currently buy today.
Yeah.
And little did I know when I collected these back in high school that the ones that I had from the 90s were of better quality than what you can buy new today that are all, made in China.
Yeah.
And anyway, so this UK company, they don't ship to the United States. So the only way that I'd be able to get one is I have to buy it and ship it. I have to set up an account, ship it to this mail forwarding thing.
Yeah.
And then they do all the processing. They pay the tariffs or whatever costs. I pay the costs plus the shipping. So it ends up being, pretty dang expensive to get a lava lamp from the UK.
Yeah.
And so.
But it's a lava lamp. I don't even know where mine is. It's probably in a box somewhere. Some weird box. I have a lot of stuff that I haven't unpacked yet since we moved.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to. I have this problem with where I find other things to do instead of unpacking my old stuff. And I'm getting to the point now where I haven't looked in this box in 5 years. I can probably just throw this box out now.
Yeah.
I haven't needed it in 5 years, so why do I need it now? So I think I'm going to start doing that. Just quick going through stuff and look real quick. Okay, this is just going to get thrown out.
Yeah.
I need the room.
Yeah, I suppose.
So actually, I'm picking up another machine Monday now.
Are you?
Yeah.
For you or for somebody else?
For me.
Oh.
This is it's going to be another project. I had a Superstar last year, and I got it, and everybody's like, "Oh, Superstar sucks. You know, you don't want that game. Just sell it."
That is a Chicago coin?
No, Williams.
Williams.
It's like a one-player honey.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have the odd art to it.
Okay.
So, oh yeah, Dan, that exclamation point MGC was not working. So, if I do shift, oops, let me get it right here. MBA. That's all I get. So I don't know if you can fix that because it's not working. Let me do this though. So everybody that's following, TurboGrafx-7 also streams on Twitch, so give them a follow also.
That's Fridays at 8 p.m. Central Time.
Yep. So go check them out too. They stream pinball machines, and he's got a lot of machines to stream. He's got a good year's worth for weekly streams. Okay, select, copy. And everybody, I am not doing a giveaway this week, only because I got a guest. So next week, I will finish week 10 of the giveaway.
What do you give away?
I am giving away one ticket on Saturday to MGC, the Midwest Gaming Classic, or you get 2 tickets on Sunday to MGC.
Nice.
So you get a choice. You can either get the 1 ticket or the 2 tickets.
That's a good value.
Yeah, those are coming out of my pocket. That has nothing to do with MGC.
You know, the last time when we had MGC last, that was when I first moved to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to this, the bar I think is out of business now. It was 1983, I think it was, downtown Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to some younger folks there. It's like, "Oh, you going to the show?" It's like, you know, the ticket costs this, da-da-da. It's like, show only comes around once a year. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's every kind of game you could ever imagine at MGC. It's like, I know, it sounds cool, but, you know, I gotta pay. It's like, well, you know, then if that's the case, you know, you can go on Sunday. Sunday's a little cheaper day, but
Yep.
I feel like Saturday's like the main day that you get everything. I mean, it's busy, but, you know, if you're going to be buying and selling video games and checking out pinball and everything, I mean, there's lots and lots of stuff to do there. So
Yeah.
I know Ryan and I talk about MGC on our stream quite a bit. It's one of our favorite shows. And maybe we're biased because we're close by there. You know, I think MGC and Chicago Expo are the closest to us.
Yeah.
But they are really nice, and I love how MGC has the variety. I've been going just about as long as I've been collecting. I went to the Sheridan, that's not too far from here.
No, right down the block and around the corner.
And I think, I try to remember. I mean, I think the first year I went, I didn't take games because I didn't really know I was, you know, experiencing it for the first time. But
Yeah.
the second year I've taken games, and I've done it every year since then. And it's super cool, not only because, you know, I get into the show or the tickets or whatever, but, you know, people get to experience, you know, some of the games that I have. You know, like I'll take restored games and things, and people bring out games in their collection that they've gone through that you would never be able to play otherwise.
Exactly.
You're never ever going to see some of these games on location. The last time I went, I took restored Stargazer, restored Quicksilver, and a restored Cyclops. So, you know, there's no other place that you're going to be able to see.
Yeah, I've never seen Cyclops before except for at your house.
Yeah.
That is a sweet, crazy game that if you do see it, you need to play that game.
Yep. I put that right at the top of, the early solid states.
Yeah.
Not many people have played it because they just don't know, because they'll never be in the wild. I think the only other place that ever had it was Pinburg, and now they sold it off when they sold off. Yeah. The Replay Foundation sold it off, so I don't know any place else that would have it on public location.
I got 2 broken pop bumper skirts.
Oh.
Each side has 1 broken bolt on it.
Mm-mm.
So hopefully I can find them in a machine. But then I got to buy 2 bumper rings due to that broken part.
The only other person I know that has a Cyclops is one of the guys that runs Madison Pinball in Wisconsin here. But it's such a rare game, and there's like a lot of the parts on it are unobtainium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible that he could put it on location, but if I was him, I would not.
No.
Having people beat on it.
Yeah. I would be afraid to bring it to MGC like you do.
Well,
you're getting all those people playing on it, that'd like blow my mind.
Well, that's the nice thing, and I will attest to this. The people that go to MGC, especially the collectors, for the vast majority of it, they're respectful.
Yeah.
Of the games. I've never once had to worry about anything. People just want to play and enjoy them, and honestly, I think if someone saw another person like abusing a game, they would be the first one, not me, but they would be ones to speak up and say,
get your hand off that.
Well, that's not you're slamming it around or something, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So, typically people treat it like they treat their own games.
I don't know. So last year it was there. Jeremy's game had a little critical, I don't know if it was critical issue, but it had a little issue, and I shut it off for him. And I had messaged him, and I said, hey, your game's screwing up, just so you know. Mm. So, I guess that's one of the things you just do.
Well, that's right. What's His Toes says, Chicago Expo, there's somebody that brings Cyclops there every year. And I did play that one.
Yeah.
Roger, I typically talk to Roger every week. Roger Sharp. He has one, and but I don't think he ever takes it out. I thought, I could be wrong, but I thought that somebody said that the Cyclops that was at Pinburg was theirs, but I don't know for sure. I thought that was owned by the Replay Foundation, but that might be incorrect. So it very well could be Rogers.
Yeah.
But yeah, even that Cyclops in general, there was a company called Echo Lake Pinball that was making reproduction MPU boards for game playing games.
Okay.
But it doesn't work on Cyclops. Something about it where it's not programmed right, where it won't reset the drop targets. So if you ever get a Cyclops, you have to use the original MPU, and they are notorious for having acid damage on them.
Okay.
So, I wouldn't shy away from getting it. If one fell in your lap, I mean, absolutely buy the thing.
Yeah.
You figure it out later.
Yeah.
But
If it ends up being a parts machine, you can help somebody out, you know.
Well, I mean, I would never try to part that game out. You could.
Yeah.
I had a friend that picked one up that did have acid damage, and he was able to bring it back to life. I mean, there's skilled enough board repair guys out there that can take care of acid damage, no problem. So.
Yeah, we got 2 damaged hot bumper skirt thingamabobbers, 2 broken ones. So those will have to get ordered up. I don't have any of those spares. And after working at a casino, I learned number your pop bumper coils when you take them off, because it's easy to put the red in the blue and the blue in the red.
Mm. Yeah, what's his toes? I did play that Cyclops, and you're right. It's just about like how well somebody has it fine tuned. So typically when I go through stuff and I'm taking it to a show, I'm probably the minority where I'm a little bit crazy about making sure that everything is, you know, plays the best it can, so everybody has a good experience with it. But I've seen shows where people bring stuff, they plop it on the floor, that it works for like 2 seconds on Friday and it doesn't work the rest of the time. Like, come on, guys. Like, I know, because it's also a swap meet kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're going to plop it on the floor to get some tickets to the show, like, make sure the thing works. If it doesn't work and you're selling it as a project game, like, sell it in the parking lot or something.
Yeah.
You know, you're taking up space for people.
Put a little sign on your shirt, Cyclops for sale, you know.
Right. Or, I always found, too, at shows, like, if you're selling parts or something, there's usually a thread on Pinside where you can go, like, hey, I got these whatever parts, cleaning out the parts shelf, you know, and you pre-sell it before the show. I've had good luck doing that, and I meet up with them, and then don't have to worry about shipping. And so every year, like, Friday is you get your game set up, and then it's just a bunch of texting and phone calls back and forth to meet up with people. And
another thing too about MGC, if you got a chance, and if Tom Taylor has his event, go to that.
That's the next thing I was gonna say.
You gotta go to that, because you're gonna see some of the most wild games you've never seen in your life, all in one tiny little place, and your head's gonna explode, thinking, "Wow, I cannot believe I'm driving past this every day."
Right.
And what's inside this building?
Well, and if you like EMs even just a little bit, it's a great pre-game kind of thing to the show, because typically what we had done before I knew about Tom Taylor's, I mean, I kind of knew about it, but I didn't bother getting tickets. But now I do it every time.
Yeah.
And it's basically you go set up your game, and then Tom Taylor's is that afternoon, and we head over there, and that's like the pre-game to the show.
Yep.
I mean, you can also get your VIG tickets if you want to participate in, like, they have like pin golf and I think, was it golf, pin bowling? There's some other stuff, but there's like a pre-game kind of thing at the show too. But yeah, Tom Taylor's, he has like every wedge head ever made, and he has all kinds of. My favorites are, I love the rifle games and the car games. Like, he's got all these EM, like bowlers and different stuff that you just don't see all the time. There's a Williams EM that I that I fell in love with there that I'm now forever searching for. But I did find one once, but it ended up being like it was in a house fire, so I had to pass it up. It's like it would have been way too much of a project. But yeah, so cool stuff. I always leave there with another EM that I'd love to have in the collection.
Yeah. So if anybody's wondering what I was just doing, why I had all these zip ties out, I have to move this playfield around a couple times. I have other machines that I have to work on, so this can't be in my way. So I zip tied the coils, so because I'm taking off the lights now. And this way I can move everything around and they won't bounce around, they won't rip wires off or anything. So, and they're completely out of my way, so I can get at the wires to desolder the light switches so I can get the pop bumper bodies off.
That's a neat way that you did this, to basically use the cabinet as a table.
Yeah.
What do you put? Do you put anything down on the? Oh wait, it's just wood rails there.
Yeah, it's just wood rails. But no, I have a I took the exact measurements and I made a jig for sawhorses.
Okay.
I'll get it real quick. But that's what I normally use. This is what I'm just using now because I don't have room.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. It's a good way of using the space, because I can't tell you how many times I got the thing lifted up, because I'll lift it up vertical on the back box, and oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, you just set it on top of your sawhorses.
There you go.
And it's designed for the top of the playfield to be here, and then the bottom of the playfield to be there.
Awesome. Yeah, genius.
And this is I just measured inside of the cabinet.
Yeah.
So it's got the side rails and everything.
Yeah, anybody could make that with some spare 2x4s they got sitting around.
And
so.
the knees right here just keep the sawhorses from, if you actually bump them so it doesn't slide off and go onto the floor.
And then you got a little extra space, so if you got mechanisms that are sticking up, they're not hitting the table.
So yeah, there's a how-to on my Mark's Basement Arcade if you want to make one.
Awesome.
But yeah, this is, I normally where Dave's working, I have my sawhorses set up, and I can just take the playfield, put it in here, work on it to perfect height, and then flip it over and then work on the other side perfect height.
Yeah, what's his toes? The swap meet is pretty cool. At I think both MGC and Expo have them. So if you're looking to buy a game, it's a good outlet for that. And oh right, so what's his toes is talking about? There's a collection in Ann Arbor. It's called Vintage Flipper World, VFW.
Yeah. And
typically he would have a show every summer. I think it was in June or July. I can't remember. And I've only been to it once. I kind of kick myself because I am a Michigan native, and I used to live by Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Like just south of there, and so I went there for the first time with I went to the show once with my wife. Actually, I don't think she was my wife at the time, but anyway, we stopped there for the day, and as we were driving away, she's like, "Are you kicking yourself that you moved away from here?" Like, shut up. But he's not open to the public like year round or anything, so I think Clay Harrell has just a crazy collection of, you know, all kinds of weird and rare stuff, as well as modern new games, and very cool show. If you ever get a chance, it is definitely worth traveling to. I think before because he has a property there. I thought he had camping, which I would probably take advantage of. But anyway, I wanted to talk on this stepper unit. This is the ball count unit. And I don't know how well... Oh, I gotta move the camera over. How do I...
What do you need to...
Maybe I just need to move the whole head this way.
It might work.
Move some of this stuff.
I can actually do those.
I don't know how much extendo you... There you go.
That one?
Yep, that's fine. Perfect.
Let's turn off autofocus. And then turn it back. Oh, now I'm pushing it down. Are we on? Okay, yep, there we go. Yep.
Okay, cool. So, ball count unit. Pretty much all this stepper units are similar. And they all have these fingers that travel across as it increments. And over time, it creates this trail of soot and grime. And what can happen is that soot and grime can be like conductive. And so you could have situations where it thinks that you're on a certain ball and it'll jump to the next one or whatever. So basically I'm going to clean this all up, clean up the ball trail. You can see with the clean Q-tip that I'm getting that gunk off of there. Basically, so you can see that separation now of the different contacts. I guess it would be copper contact. And then I'll go through with the magic brush again. I use it on everything, and I'll clean up that spot, as well as there's a contact on the other side of this blade that I'll clean up as well. And then I also like to tension these. So this one's actually pretty loose, but I go through and I'll kind of pick them up and kind of feel the tension. So this is probably the loosest one. So all I'll do is with the leaf switch adjustment tool, bend that down and get a little bit more connectivity out of it. Otherwise, because sometimes, like, these will control lights. These contacts will control lights for, like, player 1, player 2, player 3, ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. If you don't have good connection here and it's not clean, that light's never going to light. So, and then once it's all cleaned up, I'll go through and I'll apply a light coating of oil. And on this side will be done. But it's also like, you want this nice and smooth, because think of all these contact points. That's all friction points. And when it's dragging along on there, if you got a bunch of dirt and grime, that's all contributing to how smooth this thing increments to the next step in the stepper motor or stepper unit. And so you want that to be silky smooth every single time that it increments. And then when it resets, it needs to reset and snap back to its home position every time. So if these are gummed up, your game is not going to work. All right. And if you really wanted to go overkill, I didn't bring it with me.
Yeah.
But it looks super nice when it's done. If you take some metal polish on these.
Oh, I got some others.
Oh, yeah. It looks super nice. Because really, you only need to clean the area where the contact goes.
Yeah, you don't have to do
like
here up.
But it looks super nice.
Yeah.
when it's all done. So that I've seen guys do that. I've done it before, and I mean.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people. I'm like, wow, it's perfect, like on a full restoration.
Yeah, if you're a tech guy and you go in and you look at it, something like that, and you see that, it's like, oh, it's slick.
Yeah.
But completely unnecessary.
Yes. I think the owner of this game is going to be a little surprised when he sees the video, if he's not online right now.
Why is that?
Because I don't think he thought it was going to be this far apart.
Oh.
You know, he's probably was thinking, oh, you know, they're going to do this and this. No, the game is almost 100% in pieces.
Mm.
Rubber. That's why I couldn't pick it up.
Sorry if you think of the dentist when I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know that some guys use sandpaper, and I am not a fan of that.
No, I used green 3M.
Oh. So yeah, it's really about getting the
That's what I use.
The tarnish off of there. So it's not about sanding it, because these are only so thick.
Yep.
So if you put sandpaper to it, it's only so many times you can do that, and I like just getting the tarnish off and making it work again. Same thing with, like, I'm not a believer in the... that works pretty dang good.
That's why I like using it, because once you're done, you're going to see green crumbles all over from it. Mm-hmm. So you know it's not destroying the...
Right.
It's just... this is the sacrificial part.
Sure. Yeah, and it just... You can see the crud on there. But yeah, it's about getting that connectivity back, not... You don't want to take away... the contact area. I mean, you'll still need to whisk the switch contacts, but that's why I'm not a big believer of having a file for the switch contacts, because those contacts are round to start with, and so when you file that,
you're making them flat.
Right, you're making them flat. It doesn't. I mean, it'll work. Guys have used that method for years, but It's just, personal preference.
Yeah, this is what I use, 600 grit sandpaper,
Mm-hmm.
because it's soft and it will let the switch go where it needs to go, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then with that Dremel, I can see that too,
Mm-hmm.
where it can just get in there and
Yep.
it does its job, and
Right.
then that's it.
Right. Well, and I think with this, you can, rather than...
How
So
are you
this
getting
is-
in there again? I haven't watched you at all get in there at all.
Just like this.
Oh, okay. Go through them, clean them, and then adjust them?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's super slick where you can go...
I might start
Whisk.
end up using that more.
Yeah, because you can whisk
now-
through it really fast versus doing this a bunch. Like
Yeah.
I can zip through it really fast.
Yeah,
and
because I would have been like,
right. So this will make your job faster. But now I learned this where I'll use this for the plates because it covers a bigger area,
Yeah.
and I like that you're not removing any of the. So I'll probably I have these in my
Get
in my
the
tool
regular
belt.
3M, not the generic ones. The generic ones, they crumble a lot more.
Oh yeah.
That's why I like the 3M. That's why I got several different. This is what I use this for. If anybody can see.
That's steel wool.
Steel wool. This is grade 0000, or they say 4/0.
Mm-hmm.
I use this for glass only.
Yep.
Just glass, nothing else. Glass. Because this, you do not want to use cleaning on this, because you're going to leave little metal slivers all over, and you might not get them or see them.
Right, and then they're
And
going to get into your switches.
Yeah, and they could drop here and then make a contact.
Well,
and
that.
you would never know.
Yep. That and it's flammable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. So
It's very flammable.
I don't know if you've ever. Yeah, you can start fires because it's with steel wool.
Yeah.
I've done that several times. Or like if I'm spinning something in a drill bit
Yeah.
and metal polishing, it smokes.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I'll do that with shooter rods.
Oh, yeah.
I'll chuck it in a drill bit and I'm polishing up the shooter
Yeah.
handle part.
You can use that on the what do you call it, like the plungers for all the coils and stuff.
Yep.
You can use that on there too.
Oh, yep. So I'm a big fan of
I'm gonna
chucking stuff in a drill bit.
I am gonna be using that Dremel on this game. I know it
Good.
because, like, I've been using the paper for the whole time, going up and down. I know a lot of people are told me, quit doing that. Get your little 443 bit. You have a Dremel already. I'm like, the reason why I haven't, because you've seen my big Dremel.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is giant. I didn't know that there was this little tiny little one.
Right.
So yes, I thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
totally appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think it'll make your productivity a little quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this method for the plates.
All right, so we got this board out, as you can see. I'm going over it right now. This is my only issue, is right here. The lock relay, that's one of the relays. As soon as you turn on this game and give it life, this lock relay is always on. This coil is always on. The minute you have power, this is what turns on basically a lot of your power. And this one looks like it overheated really good, because there's a burn mark inside the cabinet, and it just melted this completely loose. It overheated it so much it didn't really melt it. You can, I don't know if you can really see it. The plastic turned orange, and it snapped right there. But that's one reason why I did not plug this in, because I seen that right away, and I'm like, you know what? I have this issue right here with stuff not being in the right position, and it's bent, and I am not gonna even plug it in because I'm not adding power to it. And another thing I just noticed here is when you're soldering, I hope you can right here. Oh no, I just unplugged it.
Oh,
So hold on, everybody.
yeah.
We are unplugged.
So when you put it back in, you'll have to activate and then deactivate and activate it again.
so let's plug this back in this way. No, this way. And I have to activate it back in again.
Yeah, so...
Oh no, it popped on.
Oh.
Okay.
Mac's a little different then.
Alright. So we're right here. And I'm going to hold this like this. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. No, you can't. Right here, can you see? Nope. There, now you can see it right here. This is solder splash. Right here on the wiring. You do not want that on your game at all. I had a Gulfstream that I was working on, and it was doing crazy intermittent things. And when I pulled it apart, there was solder splash all over the wiring harness. Now, I don't know if it was making a direct connection through the wire, but as you know, these are cloth wires. So if it's melted in there really good, like this is, it can seep down into the wire and create a connection. I don't think this did, but on that Gulfstream, I was having a lot of crazy oddball stuff. But there was a lot of wire splatter soaked into the wires. And when I removed that and adjusted stuff, the machine acted 100% normal again. No issues. So I don't know if it was the solder splatter that was getting into the wires and doing odd things, but it is something you don't want. So if you do got to solder, put a blanket over this area and do your soldering on your playfield, or if you can, remove the playfield altogether.
You said you had some mothers?
Yes.
I kind of want to do it.
Okay.
Just for the fun of it.
Alright, let me this over here. You just clip that. Stay on correctly.
Oh, and you might have to bend this back.
What does that bend?
Yeah, it's just a cheap clamp. I need to get a better one. There you go.
Okay. Alright, let me get the motors. I can turn this off. So I'm not doing anything to this board today. That will be a whole show. But let me get my motors. Mother's Mag and aluminum polish.
Yep. Yeah, there's one that I use. Mother's works well. I have one that I really like. It's McGuire's all metal or like motorcycle polish, and it'll work essentially the same.
You want any towels like up there too, or if you want a little applicator, or do you have
I'm gonna put it on this.
Okay.
Anyway, what I do is, I really like the McGuire stuff. I mean, McGuire's smells a little bit more like grapes.
Yeah.
And this has more of a chemical-y smell to it, but it really does clean it up super nice.
Oh yeah.
And fast.
So look at it. I sold you on the green 3M pads, and you sold me on the tiny little micro Dremel.
Yeah. Yeah, they're nice. So go through, and you can just let the stuff do its work.
Yeah.
You don't need to go too crazy with it. But I'm going to polish all of it since I have it here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much because I still got to pull the thing apart, pull the shaft out, clean all the gunk off the shaft, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at least I won't have to do this part. So yeah, next week we still got a ton of work to do on this machine. We're going to do the score reels, probably. I don't know, on this machine I might do the relay board first. just because it had that fire on it. Well, I don't know if it's really a fire. I think it just got superheated and left a smoke trail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can really see it, but I'll try to get you down into seeing it. Right, yeah, you can see it. Right here's the smoke trail. Right there. Where's my light? There's a smoke trail. That's right where the lock relay was, right here. So that's what the lock relay did when it overheated. It smoked. So that's why we did not plug it back in. I don't know if that blew any fuses or what. The fuses look good though, but who knows if they're the correct fuse. These all look big. Maybe we can pull them out real quick and look at them. Where are we? Let's get you here. I will set you up a little bit. And I'll see if I can find my fuse stuff. I'm gonna pull them out. That's why I got various stages of these green things. From depending what I'm doing. If I'm doing one thing, I use the really cruddy one. If I'm doing another thing, I use the really super good ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that weird method of that. So I'm like, oh, this is one of the ones I can use that's totally cruddy. That once it's done, it's garbage. It's going in a garbage can.
Mark, I don't know. Do we have a hard stop at 4 or no?
We don't have a hard stop. It's just
when we're
yeah. If you want to finish that up, we can finish up to day or.
Yeah, I was just going to go over
stop.
tensioning these
4,
switches
5,
quick,
6,
and
7,
then
8, 9.
I don't think
we have to stop before 5.
Okay. Well,
Dan's stream will be on at 5, and you have to have a 4-hour window between. Actually, stream start time. So yeah, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
But
cool. So after I get this kind of buffed off here,
10 amp. That's correct.
I'll show tensioning these switchblades. So this is the overkill that I was kind of talking about, but it looks super nice.
Yeah.
And shiny. And if you know pinball people, they love shiny things.
Yep.
So
it's nothing like you just said when you looked at my casino, you're like, wow, those score reels are nice and clean.
Right.
Yeah, that was a couple blisters right there. They certain score reels you can clean them the way I do, and other ones you can't, like Gottlieb. Put it this way, if the score reel, the numbers on the score reel look chalky and flat, you cannot.
Bally.
Yeah, you cannot use my method on cleaning them.
Yeah, it's gonna make it disappear.
Yeah, but if they're like the Chicago Coin here and then the Williams, I have a method where I can I clean them. First I take one of those blue towels like you got, and I spray the towel with non-ammonia glass cleaner, and I go over the reel and get all most of the hard dirt off of it. Second, I take a microfiber cloth, I put a little Novus 2 on it, and then I go over the whole reel and get it all clean. And then my third step is another microfiber cloth and use Novus 1 on it. That's why those things got a shine on them like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So they look brand
new.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I do the whole inside and outside of not just the face you see. So when you pop open that back, you can see, you're like, wow, these things are totally clean.
Yeah.
But do not put them in ultrasonic cleaner, people.
Right.
Do not.
Yeah. Same thing with graphics things.
Yeah.
If you want the art to come off your spinners,
yeah,
go ahead and throw it in
yeah.
ultrasonic cleaner. I had to do that actually for the Stargazer project I'm working on.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm gonna redo the spinners anyway, and they came from various other games. Because I'm doing a scratch build, and so that's the quickest way to get the art off. Is just chuck it in the off. Just
yeah. Here we got a 20 amp and a 15.
Okay. Yep, that'll do it.
Yep.
So I wanted to go over, so these fingers here, I talked about this earlier. Like this one is barely even touching. It's got some connectivity, but really all you need is just take your switch adjustment tool and bend this down so you got some more tension, and you can kind of check it. They should all be, fairly similar tension, and they have nice snap back. And then that's pretty much all you have to do with these. This one needs a little bit more.
I hate that I can't read these things anymore.
I mean, I know that, so Jeremy was on earlier, but
yeah.
He's done ones where he takes these things completely apart, and, you can really make them look like brand new if you're going that far. I don't ever really take them fully apart.
Yeah.
It's just, I never found a need to.
But I found a 15 amp and a 10 amp.
Yeah.
That's not good either. So I'll take the 15 amp and I'll put it where the 15 amp is supposed to be, and that 20 amp that was in a 15 amp spot will not go back into the machine.
Alright, so those are done. And that side is done. So yeah, nice and shiny. So the next part is really just going through, and it probably will move a lot smoother now. And reset.
That's a step up, step down stepper.
Yeah.
So many different variations of them things.
Right. Some it'll snap back. No, I think this is supposed to snap back all the way.
It's just gunky?
I think so. So if I'm all the way stepped up.
This looks like a 20 amp too.
It should.
20 amp.
No, it's got this one.
Okay.
Here.
Oh yeah. Then it's a step up, step down. Another 20 amp and a 10 amp spot.
So anyway, to clean this, typically what I do is, you don't have to go too crazy with it. There's only a couple of switches here. So this is your, I guess your zero position switch. So when this goes all the way to the home position, it's going to open this switch here. And then when you increment up, it should close it. So you kind of can rock back and forth between these two positions to make sure that it's opening and closing. Otherwise, it's not going to know that it's at that. This is the ball count, so it's not going to know that it's at ball 1. So that's an important switch. And then this other one here is just telling it when it increments. So I'll clean those up quick.
So the fuse block had one correct fuse in it, which was the bottom one.
And most of them were overfused.
Yes.
Yeah, that's bad news bears there.
So the two 10 amp fuses were 20 amp. No, the top 10 amp fuse was 20 amp. This was a 15 amp, so I took the 15 amp and put it where 15 amp was. And this 15 amp was a 20 amp. So now I got a 10 amp, a 10 amp, a 15 amp, and a 10 amp back in it, like it should be. So this is fused correctly now. And if there's any other fuses, they would be underneath the play field or sometimes in the back of the head there. And those I would look for again. And I got another really cool thing. Dave probably knows about these. These I'll show you guys. These are circuit breakers.
Oh yeah, those are nice to have.
if you're using these,
Where do you get them from?
Troxel Repair.
Troxel.
Yeah, if you go to Troxel Repair and if you get a discount code, you put in MBA. I think you get $2 off the set. So since he's a pinball guy and he does support the community with the stuff, I asked him about, can I mention your product, on my streams and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, sure. And he goes, for doing that, I'll give you a discount code so I know that you're sending me people, which is good. So you can buy these circuit breakers from them and get $2 off just by putting MBA for the discount code. I don't make any money off of it, so it's nothing for me. It's a small pinball guy that's working for the community. So those are good to support.
If be good if you could put that link in the chat or something.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it. And these, if you got a 15 amp, do not put a 15 amp breaker in it. Put a 10 amp breaker in a 15 amp, because this needs a little more power to run through it, to pop it. So if you're testing out a 15 amp circuit on your machine, put a 10 amp in there. So this will have a little more power ran through it before it will pop. But if you used a 15 amp, you might put 20 amps through it before this pops, and you don't want to do that. So always step it down one size when you're using a circuit breaker. At least on EMs.
Handy tool. I used one. I had a nagging issue with it was a short in general illumination on my Alien Star, and I've been meaning to talk about that on stream. I'll do it the next time we stream it. But finding a short in lamp sockets can be hard to find sometimes, and what it ended up being is when I restored the playfield, I actually created the short myself because when I buffed and polished the playfield, it got all like the rubbing compound inside the socket, and ended up giving it connectivity to the base and the tab, and it took me forever to find that thing. And I ended up using a circuit breaker to help me troubleshoot that very thing. It's perfect use of that. Anyway.
Okay, let me see if the coupon code still works. It should. Let's go to view cart. Apply coupon. MBA. Yep, the coupon code still works. So here's a link for Troxel Repair. Like I said, this is just a pinball guy that does stuff for the community, which is awesome. So there's the link, and for the coupon code, just put in MBA, and there you go. You'll get $2 off your product purchase from him.
Now that's a super handy tool to have. I have a fuse box that I think I got it from probably Harbor Freight again. I'll say that place a lot.
Did you see my Harbor Freight?
Oh yeah, you showed that on one of your streams before.
Yeah, that's all Harbor Freight boxes in there.
Yeah, so I have like every fuse. I think when Radio Shack was closing out a lot of stuff, I went and I bought tons of fuses from them.
I wish I would have did that.
And so I filled up my box, and I have like every single value. But if you're troubleshooting something, you're going to go through a ton of them. And if you've bought fuses before, they're not exactly cheap.
This is what I bought when Radio Shack went out of business.
Oh, yeah, fuse holders. Those are a good thing to have on hand all the time.
Especially if you do any work on a Bally EM.
Yep.
Right away, Bally EM. First thing you do, cut off the fuse blocks and put brand new ones in.
Mm-hmm.
You look at them things in the wrong way and they fall apart.
Yep.
Don't even bother with
So what Clay Harrell said is they did their fuse holders and their lamp sockets they made in-house.
Yeah.
And they were just really not good quality. And then their Jones plugs.
Yeah.
They were just not good quality. So I'll finish this thing up real quick, but another thing that I haven't lubed or anything, but just to, like, if this was gummed up with a bunch of grease, I like this syringe thing where I'll put it on any of these joints here.
Yeah.
And kind of freeze that up, and then you can work the mech and free that up. And then once it's freed up, I'll take my Finish Line dry bike lubricant. This one's already pretty good, and so I'll just put a couple of drops in each spot, just like so. Pretty simple, and then you just work it back and forth. And then I forgot one thing on this side. After it was cleaned, this probably has a protectant in there as well, but you can go through. This is what you would normally do. Just put a little of the lubricant and put it on the trails, and it's nice and thin. And there we go. This stepper is done.
Sweet.
So nice and smooth. There we go. So I think we were probably out of time to break into other stuff, but we got score relays done, reset relays done, ball count unit is done. So in this head, all we have is the credit unit, and this is where you could add free play if you want by closing the 0 position switch.
Yeah, it's on free play right now, I think. I don't know.
One thing I really like, and I've done this for a few games, is I've added a connector.
Yeah.
And so I'll make a Molex plug, and you plug it in when you want free play.
Yeah.
And I put a little label on it, says free play when it's plugged in, and then if you want it to be coin play, you just unplug it. So it's really handy to, if you're, that way you're not physically really modifying anything with the switch, so it'll always function the way that it's supposed to function. But
just want to show everybody this real quick. We need the cord, because last week we didn't get to see this work.
Oh.
I turned it on and we had issues, and I went through and I found out I had a stuck.
You can unplug that other one.
A stuck switch. So we got that fixed. And look at that, Lucky Ace is alive. Back playing again. Like it should be. So I still got to put new lights in here, but as you can see, this back glass is toast. It's totally toast. The only thing I've done in the head is everything except for the bulbs. But this has been all triple thicked. You can see just how nasty that is. None of this works up here because that stepper was missing almost every piece for it. So this back glass I'll be putting
color resto?
No, colored LEDs in it.
Oh, well, I was gonna say I've bought several glasses from BG Resto.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend. I mean, thank God he's in business and making back glasses, because without him, a lot of stuff wouldn't even be available. So I mean, they're a little bit darker than like a screen printed one, but you know, if you got a busted or roached out glass, he is really a godsend when it comes to restoring these games.
Yeah, if I was keeping this game, I would put the glass in it. But since I'm not, I'm not gonna even bother.
Right. So anybody, you know, it's gonna be like $300 for a back glass or $350, something like that. So I mean, you got to balance that out. Like, how nice do you want it to look? Is this going to be a player that's sitting in your, you know, garage or your basement or whatever that kids are going to beat on it, or is it going to be a showpiece? And you know, everybody needs to come to terms with that, especially with EMs that they're not all that expensive. I tell this to people all the time.
Yeah.
You know, how much.
Well, thank you, Jag Daniels.
Oh, Jag Daniels. Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tell that to people all the time. You know, if you have like a Chicago coin, it's the thing's only worth what, $400 or $500.
Yeah.
Working. So you're gonna stick another $300 in a back glass. You know, new plastic set.
Yeah.
You know, what do you need to do to make it nice?
So you had a lucky ace. I got $320 into just buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the new flippers, the new pop bumper bodies, the new pop bumper skirts, the full rubber kit. I think there was a couple coils I had to put in it, then plus all the coil sleeves. Plus all my shop time on that thing. So
right.
if I put a glass in it, I'd basically not making nothing off of it.
Right, exactly.
Plus, I can't really sell it for a good full price anyways because it's missing that little mini Williams stepper. The one with the two little sides and
for the
spin
match?
Yeah, they
match
spin
it.
Yeah, that's gone. So well, most of it was
you
gone.
Get one. You can get one on eBay. I'm sure somebody parted one out.
Yeah, but then that's another
amount
of money. Yeah, that I'm sticking into that.
Right. And you don't really need the match unit for home play anyway.
No. So that whole top will be painted up.
Although sometimes the match unit is used for randomizing things on the playfield. If you have a feature like that, then you will need it.
Yeah.
So
there's one thing I noticed that doesn't work quite right, and it's just going to be a player. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's not going to be a quarter making machine at a bar or whatever. It's going to be in somebody's house. It's going to be like their first pinball machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to work like a Cadillac, but it's going to look like a Pinto.
Sure.
You know, because the playfield is so roached on there.
Yep.
But I saved it. I didn't part it out like I should have.
Right. Well, cool. Well, I think we're at time. I don't think we need to bust into anything else. But Mark, I really appreciate you having me over.
I appreciate you having me
over. Yeah. I'll we'll have you back another time to stream some games and So, well, thanks for all that tuned in. Thank you for the bits. And thanks for checking out Mark's basement. And I'm sure we'll be back again. So if you need to, if you want to follow, I stream with Ryan Kuiper, who is in chat now, TurboGrafx7 on Twitch. We do Fridays at 8 Central, streaming all different games from his and my collection. I am also the technical service manager at American Pinball. So if you own an American Pinball game and you need help, I am the guy that picks up the phone and answers the emails if you have any questions at all on your game. And I think that's it.
Yeah. I make videos on YouTube. So check me out on Mark's Basement Arcade on YouTube. There's everything you need there. And then you click on that. But not on this screen because you're just going to be going like that. So anyways, please like and subscribe to my videos. Throw some comments on there if you want anything. But this recording, I will be uploading it to YouTube, so Twitch doesn't keep them forever. So after a couple weeks or a week or something, they just vanish. So this will be on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I guess thank you all for watching. This is the best day ever. It's Sunday. It's 2 p.m. It's the tvMGC Twitch channel. And go there November 5th through the 7th, 2021. Check it out. It's going to be live. It's going to be awesome. There's more than just pinballs. You got everything. You got board games, card games, computer games, all that really cool stuff. So check it out. And there's going to be a game night in July at the Sheridan OG. So check that out too. And let me get a run of our channels. Okay, Monday 9:30 p.m. is Gamer Zone. Tuesday is at 7 p.m. is Ed's Pinball Mayhem Workbench. That's my brother channel. He is the coin op guy. So whatever you drop a quarter in, that's what Ed does.
He's also my sister's neighbor.
Oh.
Yeah, he's right down the street.
There you go.
Stevens Point. Yep, good guy.
Yep. And then Wednesdays at 7 p.m. is Stories of MGC. Thursdays at 9 p.m. is Father Plays Mother 2. Fridays at 9:30 p.m. is Late Night Leveling. Sundays at 2 p.m. is what you're watching right now, and I hope you follow us. Also, you can use your Amazon account if you have Prime and subscribe to us for free, which is pretty cool. Sorry I didn't put the link up, but if anybody is there like Dan, if you got that link, I think it's subscribe. There you go. Use Prime. Okay. I did the wrong one. But yeah, use Prime right there. There you go. You can use that to get a free subscription to tvMGC. You can use that. And then one more show. At Sundays is 9 p.m. is theme parks, FECs, and arcade. FEC stands for Family Entertainment Center. And you get to see Dan and his little crazy skeleton dude. So anyways, I guess that's about it. Anything to say?
Oh, I think that does it.
All right. Later on, guys.
See ya.